this is Dr. Annette Bosworth again, and this video is for any of you out there who are looking to have a little help to describe the difference between ketosis and ketoacidosis. If you're going on the ketone diet and you're talking to somebody who is not really aware or educated on the diet, one of the first things they'll Google is that it's deadly because they're looking at the word ketoacidosis. So let me do a little education because this gets confused even in the medical world and is a great thing to review. The difference between ketosis and ketoacidosis is that one is a healthy way of living with a high-fat diet and the body using ketones for fuel, otherwise called nutritional ketosis. Ketoacidosis is a life-threatening medical emergency. Ketoacidosis is the life-threatening situation that happens in insulin-dependent diabetics where their sugars get really high, like over 200, often in the 300 or 400s. And they don't bounce up there for a minute. They've been there for 2, 3, 4 days. And because they don't have access to insulin, the sugar can't get inside the cell, so the glucose gets higher and higher. So you have really high sugars, really high glucoses when you have ketoacidosis, and that gets accompanied with really high ketones, like above 15. You should never see a ketone level, a blood ketone level near 15 when you're in nutritional ketosis. Nutritional ketosis is when patients limit their carbohydrates to less than 20, and their storage of fat or their consumption of fat is how they fuel their body. That's when ketones are being made, and it's accompanied by a sugar that's around 100 or less. Sometimes you can see them in ketosis around a sugar of 120, but it's certainly nowhere near 200 or 300 blood sugars. So the first difference between ketoacidosis and ketosis is ketoacidosis has really high blood sugars and really high ketones. Ketosis has blood sugars between 80 and 100, 80 and 120, and ketones that range in the 0.2 or 0.3 to maybe as high as 5, 6, or 7, depending on if you're fasting. The word ketoacidosis gets its name because the blood becomes more acidic. And this is a consequence of those sugars and those ketones floating around. Your kidneys do an amazing job of keeping your blood acid base very particular, right around 7.40. And when you're in ketoacidosis, we see that starting to go more acidic in that less than 7.35. So it's a tiny little difference in the number, but a really big difference in the human body. Ketoacidosis is in people who do not make insulin. You have to have an absence of insulin for this to happen. Who gets ketosis is anybody who limits the carbohydrates. When people are in ketosis, the longer they're in ketosis, nutritional ketosis, the better their energy gets, the better their focus gets, the better their brain concentration gets. And ketoacidosis is really the opposite. The longer they're in ketoacidosis or the closer they get to it, the more ill they get. Their brain doesn't work right. They want to get sleepy. Sometimes you can slip into a coma. That's how they die. But it's nothing like what's happening with the ketosis side of this mixed up terminology. I think the final thing I'd point out is that the cause of ketoacidosis is the lack of insulin. If you make insulin, it's really difficult for you to get into ketoacidosis. We now have several protocols where we even treat type 1 diabetics with a ketosis diet, but they inject their insulin. So as long as their insulin's working and we keep a close eye on those ketones and their blood sugars, we can keep a type 1 diabetic from getting ketoacidosis while using the ketogenic diet.
Di BINARAGA.NET, kami selalu percaya bahwa setiap orang pasti bisa memiliki tubuh yang ideal dan sehat. Dengan subscribe, like, dan share video ini, Anda turut membantu membangun Indonesia sehat dan kuat. Salam jelas fitness, saya JP.